Hey YouTube, so welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be finishing up the network portion of my HomeLab and segmenting my network using VLANs and some firewall rules. So let's get straight into it. So a quick overview of what VLANs do and how they work. Let's suppose that we have a company ABC, and in this company, all their devices are on a single subnet or a single network, this 192.168.1.1. But in this network, we have three separate departments. We have shipping, finance, IT. And as it is right now, everything's talking to one another. There's no separation. Traffic is pretty much everywhere. If we add VLANs, we see that they're all in separate subnets now, IT, finance, and shipping. And if we go a little further, we can see that these networks are now separated. There's no traffic talking in between another. They're on separate broadcast domains. And it's more efficient this way. And it's more secure because they're not talking to one another. Unless we add some firewall rules, which explicitly tells what can go between networks. So VLANs can be used to separate the network for security purposes, and it can be used to increase collision domains, which increases network efficiency. So let's hop back into PfSense, and we're going to navigate to the interface tab and then down to assignments. And so in this interface or on this page, you will see VLANs. Let's click on that, and it's pretty simple. We're just going to add a VLAN. And so we're going to be working on our security VLAN here. So I'm going to label this security lab. Hit save. But we have to activate this on the LAN network. So we're going to hit add. Interface has been added. So now we should see it inside of here. No, we don't, because we have to activate DHCP on this network as well, or on this VLAN. So we'll go over to DHCP server. Missing something. Hold on. It's 30. Oh. So we have to enable the interface first. I always forget this part. Security lab. IPv4 configuration, just like before, static IPv4 and C24. This is going to be 192.168.30.1 for me at least. Right, cool. So now go back to services, down to DHCP server, and we should see security lab, and we're going to enable that interface, or enable this DHCP server rather, and we're going to define the range that we're going to use for this DHCP server. Hit save. So we're done with that portion for now. We're going to switch gears a bit, hop into our hypervisor, and make sure that it's set up to receive the VLAN information. So I'm going to log into my hypervisor, and I'm going to navigate to the networking portion here once this finishes loading. So networking, we're going to add a port group. And if you remember, my VLAN ID was 30 for my security lab. And we're going to make sure that the virtual switch is the same switch that we're using for our LAN. In my case is vSwitch0. Hit add. And so now we have our VLAN information set up, and I already went and did this beforehand. But you want to set your LAN ID to be 4095, and this is going to allow for all of the VLAN information to traverse on the LAN, and then we can set up the rest of our VLAN IDs. So now, as you can see, I went ahead and added a couple more VLANs, and so I'm going to go ahead and set up one of my virtual machines to receive a VLAN 30. Make sure it gets an IP address. And we're going to test some firewall rules to make sure that they're working correctly. So I'm going to right click the VM, go to edit settings, and then add a network adapter, and then select the VLAN that I want. In this case, it is security lab VLAN. And if we go to the machine, turn it on, if I do an IP config, we should see that it is receiving that 192.168.30 dot whatever. Yep, cool. So that virtual machine is receiving the IP address from the DHCP server as intended, and then I went ahead and set up my desktop on VLAN 10, which is my management network. So if I do an IP config on this local computer, I should get a .10 address, which I am. So let me see if I can ping this virtual machine. Oh my gosh. And I cannot. So one thing I forgot to do is disable the firewall. I could go ahead and add a rule for this firewall, the Windows firewall, to allow ICMP, but I believe is blocked by default. So I'm just going to turn it off for now. Just test these settings. So all right, let's see if I can ping the other machine now. Yep, cool. Make sure we're here. Nice. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and add a rule to our PfSense firewall to make sure that traffic is being blocked between these two security lab and management networks. So let's go ahead and add a rule to our security lab network. So reject any source security lab network and destination management network. This is saying that we're rejecting any kind of traffic over from our security lab to the management network. And this is just IPv4. So if you're using IPv6 and you don't want any traffic to be transmitted, add a rule for IPv6 as well. And so let's go back to our virtual machine and see if we can ping my desktop. And we can't. So I think that's it for this portion. So as you know, I bought a 4-port NIC for my server, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out how to get VLANs to work using just that. So I had an 8-port managed switch that I had laying around. So I went ahead and used that to set up basically all my physical devices, like these Pis, my wireless access point, and my desktop are all hooked into that switch. And I can set up VLANs on there, and I'll switch to the switch settings and show you how I got it set up. So basically, this is how this my network looks right now. I went ahead and so I'm not going to use these three ports. This is going to be connected to my modem, and give me internet access. And so this port right here, this is my LAN. This is that. And so that is that 4095 VLAN ID or all. And this is my desktop. This is my wireless access point, and I can't remember what these are. But so basically, I guess in the future I can use these three to create other networks. But for now, this Netgear is working perfectly, and it's exactly what I needed. So this is how it looks on the switch interface. So this VLAN all is the same as that 4095 VLAN that I had set up on ESXI. This is my desktop. It's 10, and we see port 4 is my wireless access point. And that's basically how I have my network set up right now. So the last thing that I wanted to go over was aliases. And so I went ahead and created 2 aliases, one for each gateway IP address that leads to this management interface for each VLAN. So we have the 1.1, 10.1, 20.1, and 30.1. And this one alias holds all of these IP addresses. And then I have another alias that contains all the management ports that PfSense uses to host host this management interface. So instead of creating multiple rules, I can just select this alias for the IP and this alias for the port, and then block all access to it. That way I don't have to create a bunch of different rules. and this prevents anyone or anything from accessing these this management interface from these VLANs. So yeah, that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the stuff I have in store. It's going to be a lot more fun than what I'm doing now. This is just laying the groundwork for the other stuff. So yeah, just stay tuned. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like if you want to. Either way, there's going to be content and videos coming. So stay blessed.